Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Midtown USA, the Grizzly Bear Sims channel. This is episode number 26, and I said that all out of the wrong order, as I normally do. We are here in game day number 5 in mid-autumn, and the last time we were together for episode number 25, we took care of the animals. That was several game days ago. That was probably like game day number 2, I think it was, of fall. I've skipped a couple of game days in off-camera work. I've maintained the animals, and just as a matter of fact, just got done topping all the animals up, because if you actually, we'll just jump out of our truck here, leave it idling there. We'll step over to our field here of soybeans. And you might remember this was actually the first field that we actually planted, and we are good to go. We are 100% ready. So what we're going to do is, obviously we are in a wet crop situation right now. So for baseball fans, this would be considered a rain delay. And I really was sort of eyeballing, if you remember back in the other episode, I sort of talked about the fact that maybe, just maybe, our target date for starting to harvest the soybeans would fall on game day number 6. And that was the game day where we had essentially two game days in a row where we had nice sunny weather, clear skies and everything. And so I think what we're going to do is, obviously our soybeans are not going to go anywhere. I don't think anyone's going to come in and harvest those for us. So I think what we're going to do is just play it on the safe side. Obviously we can't harvest anything right now anyway, because we are in a wet crop situation. So I sort of thought that it was a good time to spend a portion of this morning taking care of the animals, which I have done off camera because I was not going to subject you all to that 2 episodes in a row. So that is just kind of, consider that done and dusted. And what we are essentially doing today, right now, at least in the first half of the episode, is we're going to haul and sell some of our material. We've got a load of sunflowers here, 65,270 liters of sunflowers that we're hauling over to the train station to sell it over there. That is the best price at this particular point in time for sunflowers, as well as for, I believe, one other crop type, but I think we're just going to focus on getting the sunflowers sold right now. And then we're going to go and we need to empty the compost master, because again, that was sort of the deal that we made with Farmer Klein. He runs that outfit, and he was kind enough, because he didn't have any material to process at this particular moment in time. So he's basically, okay, if you can basically go up, fill it up with fuel, run the material that you want to run, he says, I'm okay with you guys using the compost master, just basically leave it the way you found it. And so we found it with essentially empty fuel and empty material, and so we're going to leave it with a little bit of fuel, and obviously we're going to leave it without any material in it, because we're going to take that over and we're going to sell that at the garden center, which is up at the northern portion of the map, just as soon as we back up and empty this load of sunflowers into the silo here. And looking for a pretty penny on this. Now you might wonder, why did I change out my tipper trailer? Well, as you can sort of tell, some of these sell points, basically the belly dump trailer will not work, or will not work very well. Or at least the immersion factor would be blown. I could sort of come in sideways and hit the trigger probably with the belly dump, but this is a little more realistic, and this holds a little bit more as well, and so this is just kind of what we're going to go with. Don't know if I'll use this on the fields to transport. We might. Obviously I did buy it out of our operating cash, so it's possible that we might just set it on the side of the field and just kind of go with it like that. And we'll see what's showing at the theater. Running Out of Taters is showing. I've already seen that 5 times, so won't be heading up here to watch that movie anytime soon at the drive-in. Plus, as I said, we're going to be having our hands full for the next couple of days in getting getting those soybeans off the field, because that obviously has been our main priority. And let's see, anything different at this? Nope, running out of taters. Same outfit. So anyway, hope everyone is having a wonderful day as I sort of figure out where in the heck I am on the map, because I sort of made a wrong turn in Albuquerque, I think. I think this, we need to turn left here and then come back around by the shop. I think. Anyway, hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I think I've already said that, and hope you all are enjoying your month of April and everything that has to offer for us. Seasonal allergies for me is kicking in big time, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what it is about the spring. I try very hard. I started taking over-the-counter, two different over-the-counter medicines about a month ago. I started in early March, the first part of March, taking Zysol, which is something new that I discovered sort of last year, and then Claritin, and sort of mixing those up a little bit because, well, I think that you kind of get to a point to where that maybe one becomes a little more, doesn't have as much of an impact as the other one does. And hold just one moment while I figure out what we're going to sell next. All right, we're going to load up with a load of canola and take it to the same place, the same train station location that will take both sunflowers as well as canola. And so we're going to go ahead and just do that. And once we get that done, then we'll probably switch over to our other task, which was to be getting that compost master emptied out and everything so that Farmer Klein can use it. Should he need to, or should he want to, or should he just want to maybe rent it out to somebody else, because I certainly don't want to hog things. So just getting our last few liters here loaded on of canola, and off we go one more time. All part of the tasks that obviously have to be done on the farm. We are benefiting from the sale of these items, clearly, and this is clearly a pretty heavy load. I can feel it in the truck is just not wanting to really manage with this. I had to swap over to this same truck on Tazewell County. I had been using the other semi on Tazewell County as we struggle to make it up this hill. And with the belly dump trailer that I'm using both on MidtownUSA as well as on Tazewell County, it does not like that belly dump trailer. And I know I've run into this before, and I'm pretty sure that I even ran into this back on Farm Sim 15. But that belly dump trailer doesn't like the dual axle semi that's in the game, the default semi. So I had to switch with this rear single axle truck, so that I guess the rear tires hit the front part of the belly dump trailer as we need to slow down here to make this turn. I guess the rear axles hit the back of the belly dump trailer and prevent it from turning easily. And so I was struggling to make right turns and sort of wondering, well, is something going on with my steering wheel, or something out of whack? And so I hadn't really used that tipper on Tazewell yet, but we are getting to the process to where we are going to start harvesting our wheat, get that wheat off the fields. And of course we've got a ton of soybeans and corn planted on that map as well, but we need to get the wheat off the fields because that's obviously coming up first for harvest. And I was getting things staged, getting ready to go for recording the episodes of the harvest. And again, like I said, I was having trouble making right turns. It would turn left just fine, but it wouldn't turn right. And so I did a little investigation and took a look at it and everything, and realized, well, that is the problem right there, is the fact that the rear axles were hitting the front part of the trailer and preventing the truck and the trailer and everything else from turning correctly. And I've just kind of boogered this one up a little bit, but I think we might be able to recover. There we go. That's close enough for government work. Let's go ahead and dump this load and see what they pay us for it. Hopefully it'll be a pretty good chunk of change. I'm sure it will be. Now, keeping in mind that really this is the first time that we have been selling any of our materials, and just to kind of show, we've got a huge whopping 442,000 liters of wheat, 183 liters of barley, 112,000 liters of canola still, 14,000 liters of sunflowers. We don't have any soybeans at the moment. We've got 164,000 liters of corn. So we have quite a bit to still sell. And of course, I'll be selling some of this. We'll sell off camera, and some of this we will sell on camera in different episodes and stuff like that. So let me just kind of get this guy here backed up, and we'll go back more or less the way that we came. And if we can get across the tracks before a train comes. I do love the train. I like the immersion. I like the fact that the train is a little bit longer on this map than on other maps. I like that. I like that about the map. I also like the fact that in ATS we finally have a mod that makes the train longer on ATS as well. And so if you have not seen that mod, if you enjoy ATS like I do, you'll find the link to that mod on my mod spreadsheet if you just go to grizzlybearsims.com. Again, grizzlybearsims.com. In the upper right hand corner of that blog site of my website there, grizzlybearsims.com, you'll see a link to my add-ons and mod directory. Just click on that link and that'll open up a Google document spreadsheet, and click the ATS tab at the bottom and look down on the spreadsheet, and you'll see something about a rail train mod or something like that. I forget what it's called, but you'll figure it out. It's the only thing that's related or associated with the train that you'll see on that, and that'll get you all squared away. And that adds a couple of extra locomotives and a much longer consist to the train itself. So as you're driving down the roads and you happen to see a train, typically that train will be a little bit longer. It'll consist of more engines and more rail cars. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like that about that, because that was the one thing that, and I understand SCS is trying to, compact things and everything. Everything is scaled down a little bit, and so so I understand why they do it that way. But at the same time, I do like to see the longer trains, because that's what we more or less see here in the real world, is obviously really long trains. When I was a child, I would go down and I would spend the summer, a couple of weeks in the summertime, with my grandparents. They lived just north of Houston on Highway 59, and would go down there, and I always found it fascinating, and I really didn't get the whole concept of why they had to have multiple fire stations. But the trains that would come through hauling whatever down towards Houston or coming out of the port of Houston and everything were quite long trains, and they come through quite a bit. I'm guessing kind of coming up through from the port of Houston up through Conroe, up through Cleveland, which is where my grandparents lived, and on up wherever they went. And as a small child, again, I used to find it quite fascinating that there were multiple firehouses, and it was more or less because of the fact that if you had a train coming through, then clearly that would cause some problems for you. And so I suppose what I should do, for sake of everything that's going on, is I probably should go ahead and let's just go ahead and load up some more of this manure, and we'll take it up there, because as I said, we've got fuel. We've got fuel up there. We've got fuel in the trailer and everything that we've already sort of bought and paid for. And so we don't really have any hard and fast deadline that we need to get our stuff out of there. So letting it run a couple of more game days, letting the compost facility, that is, run a couple of more game days, I think we'll be fine with Farmer Klein. So if we can get another maybe 40,000 liters, I'm not sure how much manure we have here. I know I can look, but that'll take time. And let's just go ahead and suck up whatever it will suck up. And then what we'll do is we'll dump this into the compost facility, and then we'll run at least one load, maybe two. I think we have 100,000 liters. I think I took up two full 50,000 liter tippers of manure. So this will technically be like the third, or maybe second and a half, something like that, because I don't think we have 50,000 liters of manure in here. But we'll just do this, and yeah, that's close enough for government work, as I always say. Kind of pushing on that cultivator, but I think it'll bend it out of there. It'll bend it out of the way. We can turn that off, and we can fold our pipe up, and we'll get our camera pointed the right direction. And let's head over there and dump this into the compost master, and then we'll start, we'll grab a 50,000 liter load of compost that it's already produced out of the manure that we've taken over, and then we can then take a look and see, boy, this is a tough hill. We can then take a look and see how much time we have, and whether or not we have enough time to maybe haul all 100,000 liters that's currently been produced of compost to the garden center. I know that they want it. We're one of the last farmers to sort of commit to bringing them compost. So it is kind of late in the year, but you know, they'll take it and they'll sell it to customers, and I think they do some bagging and stuff like that. So it's not going to go to waste. It'll be a benefit to someone planting flowers or vegetables or whatever that they want to use with it. It'll be there. Of course, there's a big demand for manure and stuff like that as well, because again, that's good. That's good fertilizer. I think I might have told you all one time before. If not, I'll repeat the story again. It's a pretty good story. When I was a child, when I was a young boy, my father would go and buy a trailer load, huge trailer he had access to anyways, fill that sucker up with manure from the dairy. My friend, one of my high school friends, or I should probably say childhood friends, because I knew him for a number of years. Well, we grew up together, actually. His father owned the dairy, and so we would, like I said, my father would go out there and buy manure from the dairy and bring it back by the truckload, big trailer load, and dump it in the front yard. We had like a little parking area next to the street that really, the grass didn't grow too well there, and so we would dump stuff there. And then with wheelbarrows and everything else, we would then maneuver it onto the yard and basically spread it onto the yard. And we would do this in the springtime, probably about this time, maybe you know, maybe in March, late March or early April, do that. And then of course, let's go ahead and get our fraise unfolded, and we're just going to swing around, and hopefully this will pick the compost up. It should. If it doesn't, then man, we're going to have a problem. But anyway, we'll lower it and power it on. So yeah, it works just fine for compost. Looky there. So anyway, we'd spread this stuff all over the yard, and then usually, you know, in the spring in Texas, this time of year, it's still quite warm, and we get some rain and everything, and get a little bit of rain onto that manure, freshly poured out manure, and especially with the warmer days and everything, you would it would smell up the neighborhood. It would really smell up the neighborhood, and it was almost kind of embarrassing, but I tell you what, boy, did the grass look pretty in the summertime. And of course, as I got a little bit older, then one of my chores, and I earned money, it was my kind of my first job, I suppose, if you will, was mowing yards. And of course, the more frequently that I could mow a yard, the more money I could make. And so if the grass was growing really, really well, and if we really poured the water to it in the spring and early summer, I could cut that grass once a week, easily once a week. And of course, with it, we had to obviously, you know, sweep and weed eat and all that kind of stuff as well. And this is a little slower process, and of course we don't have the texture. We don't have the texture of the compost coming through the chute there, but we'll get a load done, and I won't make you endure setting through this twice. Off camera I will do this, but we'll get a load here. We've got a little over 10,000 more liters to get loaded up. About 5,000 more to go here. All right, and that's done. We've got 48,181 liters, 96% here on our tipper. And let's just go ahead and take that up to the garden center. We'll sell that, and then we're going to wrap this episode up. We'll be almost close to 30 minutes here. Again, I know I've made some recent episodes a little longer, trying to get everything in that I wanted to get into the episode, and it's quite possible that once we start harvesting, which I think that when we come back together for episode number 27, that's exactly what we'll be doing, is we will be harvesting. We're gonna probably go pretty big with our harvest efforts. In other words, we're gonna try to get everything done on the 2 game days that you see there, the 6th and the 7th, Wednesday and Thursday. We're gonna have 2 combines. We've kept the John Deere that we leased to get the corn and the sunflowers and everything done. We've got that John Deere still leased, so we'll have our I think it's a New Holland as our primary combine. We'll have that running, and then we'll have the John Deere running, and we'll be doing multiple fields at the same time. Most likely episode number 27 will be the next episode that we have here on Midtown USA. We'll probably do the smaller field, what was the wheat field, the first wheat field. We'll probably do that sort of together while we have hired workers clawing their way through the larger field, and then we can go over there and help them, and probably have maybe 2 episodes dedicated to the soybean harvest, just so that we can sort of have 1 episode getting it started, and then have the 2nd episode finishing it up. And I would predict that maybe after that, so maybe 2 episodes of harvest, and then maybe 1 or 2 episodes to kind of wrap everything up, and then we're pretty much going to be done with this map, I think. We've got a lot to do on Tazewell County still, and then like I have said in a couple of previous episodes, I know I talked about it in episode number 26 of MidTown, and I've talked about it on episode number 16 of Tazewell, is kind of dropping down to just one map per for FarmSim 17 at least. So we need to check with them first and see where they want us to put it. So we will just set our parking brake, and that is a load of compost. That is heavy. We'll get rid of that question mark while we're here. Where do you want us to drop this? Okay, yeah, I see the windmill. All right, just to the left. All right, thank you. Okay, so our compost, we'll just kind of, yep, compost goes right there, and there you go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, let's go up here like this, and we'll turn. Don't have a lot of turn control because this weight, the weight and measurements and everything of various materials differs based on what it is. That's kind of cool, I suppose, but I think we need a front weight really on this tractor, and we don't usually ever have to put a front weight on it for the other kind of things that I typically haul with this, at least on this map, but oh well. And so here we go. All right, let's get rid of our forecast so that we can see how much we're going to earn from this. I know Farmer Klein made a very small fortune, or maybe even a very large fortune, on selling compost on his map, on his gameplay of Midtown USA. And so let's see what we've managed to make here. It's going to be revealed $117,505. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. So we have at least that much more because we had 100,000 liters that was already produced. Plus we took up, I think around 30. What was it? 30,000 of fresh manure. So yeah, we could easily make probably $250,000, maybe close to 275 on just selling compost. So that is what I'm going to be doing off camera, ladies and gentlemen. The next time we come together again for Midtown USA number 27 is we're going to be knee deep into the soybean harvest. We'll be out of our wet crop situation by then, and we'll have 2 good sunny days to get. I mean, look at that. We'll pop out of the cab here because that is, ladies and gentlemen, soybeans. Soybeans to the right, and soybeans to the left, and soybeans straight ahead of us. So that is the 3 fields of soybeans that we have. That represents field numbers 16, 17, and that is 15 right over there to the right. So lots of gold there on the ground, and I hope, my fingers crossed, I'm hoping that that's going to basically be a good moneymaker for us. I think the compost is going to prove to be a pretty good moneymaker as well. That's going to boost our income up. I would like to, and I don't want to make any predictions one way or the other, but I would like to think that maybe with all of the grain that we have in our silos right now, I would like to think that by the time we wrap this map up, we'll have $1 million in the bank just from what we've been able to sell. What we have in our silo, the compost, and then the stuff here on the fields, the soybeans. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much for watching my episodes, for tuning in, for interacting with me over on Discord, for leaving comments and your questions if you have any down below the videos. I really enjoy interacting with you all. I've met some really special, incredible people that I call friends, and I mean that dearly. And I will just wish everyone a very wonderful day, and wherever you might be, wonderful day, wonderful evening, wonderful night, whatever that is. And I will see you all right back here on Midtown USA for episode number 27 soon, or catch more action of Tazewell County over on that map. I'll talk to you all very soon. God bless you all. Bye-bye.